testimony mentions that the FAA does not routinely analyze, collect, or coordinate with other stakeholders on certain data related to workforce development, but it sounds like you've recommended that it do that. Can you elaborate on the potential impacts of this gap on workforce development efforts?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we found is that there are various data sources out there that give you insight into different components of the workforce. So, for example, with the data on FAA workforce that's certificated, you can get a sense of sort of some demographic data. I mean, FAA also has data related to repair stations and the number of certificated and non-certificated workforce. But I think as they're kind of pursuing these new efforts to really look at all these available sources that both they have and other sources have, and sort of identifying where are the gaps in terms of what might be able to address some of the issues with the workforce, whether it's bringing in more diverse populations or building other pathways. We think that there's ways that you could really leverage different data sources both within and outside government.
Okay. Ms. Lang, presumably the workforce development efforts are nested in other agencies, Department of Labor, and then at the state level, in Washington State, it'd be Employment Security Department and a variety of other agencies. So it sounds like we have a lot of examples of a lot of people trying to do a lot of things. Can you address how FAA might approach trying to get a common effort established for workforce development in this particular area?
Thank you. I mean, it's really evident. I've spent much of the last few weeks reading a lot of the literature, and I think there is a profound desire to better understand the nature of the problem we're wrestling with, because we need to know how serious of a gap we may have, or what are the best solutions to tailor to meeting the workforce requirements. So absolutely, I think the FAA, one of the major things the steering committee is going to do is to create a group that works intergovernmentally with other sister agencies. Clearly, the Department of Labor and Education have very important roles, especially in the areas of data collection. But I really appreciate the point that you've made that we've also got to work with state agencies that also, closer to the issues, have data we have to do. So I think you're going to be seeing more from us, and I'll take your point that we really need to make sure we loop in our state partners as well.
Just to follow up on another point in the GAO's report, and this is for Ms. Lang, has to do with the maintenance curriculum standards. I think we have established they're at least as old as Garrett Graves, if not older. But as of October 2019, the agency officials said they were in the process of reviewing stakeholder comments. When do you anticipate a final rule on this issue being released on the standards for maintenance curriculum?
The FAA's stated goal is to get it done before the end of the year, and I'm certainly, again, this is an area where there's unanimity of view that we've got to get this over the finish line, and that is a message I'm definitely going to be chatting with Administrator Dixon about, that we really have to put agency priority in getting this done.
I think you'll hear that from other members as well, how important this is. Ms. Lang, how specifically are you going to begin to address the barriers faced by women, people of color, and other historically underrepresented groups in providing pathways into aviation and aerospace?
You know, this is really going to have to be a multi-tiered effort. I mean, Congress has clearly given us some direction to work and convene an aviation task force to really look at this question, and we are well on our way to getting that started. I think there's a lot of ideas out there. The FAA also has great partnership with our employees' associations, and we are working right now, we're trying to catalog with my colleagues in civil rights and human resources all the efforts the FAA has to make sure that we are on a path to promote those programs, but more importantly, that we begin to see some results and outcome as a result of those efforts. But frankly, this is something we all own in the industry. And as we really expand the outreach we're doing with our industry partners in academia, this has got to be front and center. We've got areas of chronic underrepresentation that simply have to be addressed, particularly in the maintenance area.
Yeah, Ms. Krause, we have a very short time. On that last question, does GAO have any specific recommendations?
I mean, I think we've just done work and maybe would offer that stakeholders have also emphasized the importance of increasing diversity and are looking at different pathways. So I think folks are interested in trying to address these issues as well.
All right, thanks. With that, I'll now turn to recognize Ranking Member Graves from Louisiana for 5 minutes.